Well, the Spygate scandal is getting out of control with both sides. That's the government and the opposition having a go at each other. The government has issued a statement trying to keep an arm's length from what's happening. As far as the WhatsApp Spygate scandal is concerned, the Pegasus software, which hacked several phones and several people, including activists, journalists, civil society, being targeted as part of the snooping controversy. The opposition claims it couldn't have been possible without the role of the government, without the government knowing about what's been happening. The NSO, this company, says that they don't really give it to anybody else except government and government security agencies. But here's what it can do and here's how it operates. The Pegasus modus operandi, first method of how it can come to you and entrap you is there's a spyware that sends a link on WhatsApp, and then this link is installed if you click on that link. So Pegasus basically gets installed if you click on that link. A spyware sends you that link. It then contacts the control servers wherever those servers are based, and then it commands, the commands of this software get relayed to get data from your phone. Essentially what then happens is that your phone, everything is controlled by an outside software. Now this is method one. There is another method, and that's the method that we're talking about, which involves a call that comes in. It's a missed call on your WhatsApp number. It can be an audio or a video call, mostly a video call, and then when you answer that, Pegasus gets complete access to your phone device, and then it's over. It takes control, complete control of what's happening. This evening on the biggest story tonight, I have with me Mr. Subimal Bhattacharjee, who's a cybersecurity expert, for joining us on the show, and he'll tell us a little bit about what we can do. Mr. Bhattacharjee, thank you for speaking to us. If you can tell our viewers how serious an issue this is in your assessment, and prima facie, going by the facts as we know it this evening, the government says it's a serious breach, but keeping complete distance from what's been happening. Opposition claims it couldn't have happened without government role or government knowledge. Now, for a layman, how serious an issue is this, Mr. Subimal?
Yeah, thank you. I think this is a very serious issue, because WhatsApp is something that people use because of the trust, and that trust comes from the fact that WhatsApp always says that the contents that goes through its network is end-to-end and encrypted. That means nobody can listen to that conversation from outside. So here in this case, if Pegasus software is able to come on top of that encryption and able to pick up and remotely take away the content or monitor it or intercept it, then it's a real worry, because the fundamental basis on which people are using, that is trust, goes away. However, on the other aspect that people have started blaming the government, I think this is absolutely too early and at this stage just unwanted. I think the bigger issue for everyone is to come together, particularly the opposition since yesterday, who have been trying to unnecessarily pick in the government here. Now they must realize that in India, it's not a banana republic that you can just go and snoop into any network. There is a very well laid out procedure. That procedure follows from the Information Technology Act 2000, specifically in the 2008 amendment, section 79 clearly says how an interception, monitoring or decryption of any content online can happen in any computer resource. And then that has been backed with a full detailed procedure published on 27th October 2009. And to that again, last year on 20th December, a well laid out Gazette notification has set the 10 agencies that can go and do those 3 acts of interception, monitoring and decryption. So this is just not that anyone wants and can get into any network, or government can by default and its whims and fancies ask some agency to go and do. No. Even the procedure defines very clearly that the competent authority, which is the Home Secretary, can authorize, and then to that whole exercise that is undertaken, that is basically reviewed by a review committee headed by the cabinet secretary of the country that has to meet at least once in 2 months. And if it approves, then this remains. Otherwise, that the whole effort of interception and monitoring goes away. So I think this is very clear. The Home Ministry has come out very clearly yesterday that it hasn't authorized any such kind of a thing, which means nothing from the government side has happened, and there is no reason to believe that someone from the government wouldn't do something legally. So I think people have to be absolutely reassured that this is not the case. However, the worrying part is that a lot of people from India have been in this network, so it has to be seen that how come an attempt of hacking and surveillance has happened from outside by some rogue element or under the instigation of somebody. Now you must also remember that this is just not India specific. There are many other countries where people have been targeted. So this actually qualifies for a global cooperation in terms of investigation, getting the right attributes from where such attacks could have happened. And then again on that count also, the Indian Information Technology Act, cyber terrorism provision under section 66F can actually be applied to those agencies that have been doing, because this is absolutely an intrusion that has much larger national security ramification. So I think these are so many things that has to be understood in entirety, rather than jumping the gun and trying to blame the government when there is nothing of that at this stage.
Mr. Subimal Bhattacharjee, thank you for joining us on the biggest story tonight and throwing some perspective on that. So it's a very serious controversy, something that the whole world is watching very closely, the Spygate scandal, and we're all watching this very, very closely, because also the government has said that they've sought a response from WhatsApp and that there's no response that's come in yet. The real extent of how serious this issue is will unravel in the next few days. Mr. Subimal, thank you for joining us, sir, this evening. Meanwhile, here's how the political battle is unfolding between the ruling the BJP and the NDA and the Congress party. Here's a snooping face-off. The Congress party has been saying that there are grave ramifications on national security, which they are, and the government has said that we've laid out norms, rules, and there is a framework and it can't happen. It's a very serious breach, saying that India has become a surveillance state. This is what Congress party has been saying. The government responding that spying and bugging happened during UPA regime and not NDA, so UPA shouldn't forget that. Randeep Singh Surjewala of the Congress party saying that the centre's flagrant abuse of privacy has come to notice with this episode, jumping the gun perhaps. The government's response that it's misleading to blame government for the breach. It may be too early, but the response of this company called Pegasus is also interesting. They say that they don't just give that software off to anybody. They say that it's only to government and security organizations. But that's the concerning aspect of it. The story is still unraveling. We here at Republic TV will keep a close watch on the developing Spygate scandal.